it to him instantly, as we saw. He turned tail and ran straight away. He's not going to pick a fight with a male that is a third bigger than he is. Anna-Marie, I often wonder that. I was wondering why the elephants don't approach the vehicles in the Mara. They don't seem to. I've had one youngster come up and say hello to us. I don't quite know what it is. I don't know. They're just as comfortable with the vehicles. They really are. In fact, if not even more so. I've noticed guides here tend to put themselves in positions that I wouldn't necessarily with South African elephants, nor would I do it with Kenyan elephants. And the elephants never respond badly. I've only ever had one moment where an elephant made me feel a bit uncomfortable, or uncomfortable enough to remove myself. I don't know. I really don't know why it is that they don't come up and say hello to us. I've not had one bull come up and loom over me. Tina, you saw the little the big musth bull, and you're wondering about how young elephants are when they go into musth. As far as I know, they go into their first musth cycles around about between 15 and 20. They're very brief and short-lived, but they happen quite frequently. As they get older, the musth cycles become more settled, and they can often last for over a month. It was fascinating to me watching the larger bulls in quite a small area and monitoring, because one of the things I used to do was monitor their musth cycles. And it was interesting how of the 5 big bulls that moved around a certain area, around about 25,000 hectares, they tended to be in musth at different times. It almost was like it rotated. But then I've heard opposing stories about the musth cycles actually synchronizing. It's an interesting thing about elephants. I wonder why no other animals out here go through that same period of heightened testosterone. I mean, animals, African mammals. What is it? Competition, I guess. I'm not sure if it's D star or B star, but there's a question about, and it's something that we often talk about, why is it that elephants are able to get as big as they get from just eating plants? Well, they eat a lot of plants. I know that sounds very silly to say, but that's actually essentially. So this big bull will probably eat somewhere in the region of 300 odd kilograms of plants a day. So even though it does seem like he's just surviving on a diet of plants, which he is, that's a lot of plants. Their digestive system is... It doesn't fully break down the food that they eat, which means that they defecate out about half of what they consume in a day. And yep, that means he will defecate out about 150 odd kilograms of dung in one day. She will obviously eat a bit less. And the reason that they get so big is because they eat plants. It's a sort of a chicken and an egg type scenario. They would not be able to sustain their size on a diet of meat. It would not be possible. There'd be nothing left, and we'd be terrified. Can you imagine a carnivorous elephant? It'd be frightening. There'd be no safaris. They'd have plucked us all out of our seats and eaten us. Like something out of Jurassic Park, but different. So an animal this large has to have a resource that they can feed on. So, for example, with certain whales, it's plankton. With certain big creatures like elephants, rhino, hippopotamus, it's grass and plants, because there's a supply of it. Obviously, then you get situations where you've got things like sperm whales, which are carnivorous. Little one, you better eat your vegetables so you can grow up big and strong. Tina, yes, elephants get particularly touchy during that period of musth. There's a common fallacy that they become uncontrollably aggressive when they're in musth, which isn't... excuse me. Swallow, breathe, then talk. There's a fallacy that they get uncontrollably aggressive. It's so dependent on the elephant's personality. I've known elephants very well, individual elephants, that are complete and utter gentlemen in musth. And they just seem to be perfectly in control of their temper. And then I've known an elephant called Riff Raff who is an absolute nightmare when he's in musth. He just can't help himself. He just has to harass everyone and everything, including people in vehicles, and breaks into gardens and just is generally quite naughty. So yes, as a general rule, all that testosterone, they are more aggressive. The females tend to show preference for the bulls in musth when they are in estrus, when they mate with them. And the bulls in musth will be more aggressive about defending females. Touchy is a good word. They are more touchy. They also have a very characteristic musth swagger. And you'll find that all guides are, whenever we stop at an elephant herd, I certainly do. It's one of the first things I look for. Just do a little casual glance around. And if we stop at a lone elephant bull, the first thing we do is check, is he secreting from his temporal glands? Does he smell? Usually you can actually smell them from far away. And then you change your behavior accordingly. Sometimes you don't need to. Sometimes they are completely relaxed. And they'll walk right past the car without even giving you a second glance. I also find with musth bulls, when they're in the company of females, they are generally, I wouldn't say more relaxed, they're just more focused on the females rather than the people in the vehicle. Whereas if they're on their own, then they might come and cause trouble with you because they're a little bit bored, a little bit hormonal, and they just want some entertainment, essentially. But when they're with herds like this, there's no problem. But you can see how it upsets the females. As they move away, they've moved away from him instantly. Watch this interaction over here. That's interesting. Why did you do that? Female was urinating, and I thought this other female was coming to test the scent. Oh, she is. There you go. Trunk in mouth. And the baby might do it as well. That is a very much an elephant equivalent of a phlegm and grimace. It's the way that they taste the smell and transfer it to the vomeral nasal organ, or the organ of Jacobson. Noel, the elephants stay right here at night. And they generally don't sleep very much. They tend to be awake for most of that period of time. Adult elephants actually only fall into a deep sleep, as science has recently shown. They only fall into a deep sleep every 2 or 3 days. Babies sleep every couple of hours, often for an hour at a time, but the adults do not. So the elephants are here at night. They go wandering about. They sometimes come and visit us in our camp, which does make life tricky when you're trying to get between the place where we park our cars and our tents. And they occasionally pop out into the road in front of us when we're driving home. And I've mentioned the zebra dung problem before. It's a whole different scenario when an elephant deposits its present on your front doorstep, especially when you walk out in the dark and stand in it. There are worse things. Right, we all placed bets. I was expecting the wildebeest to be streaming through the triangle by now. They're not, but Tayla has found some that are about to stream across the stream.
How cool is this? I'm so excited. This is Sebastian's first crossing. Congrats, Seb. There we go. The wildebeest have been crossing all morning long, apparently, which is a little bit on the sneaky side of them. We suspected that they were only going to cross after breakfast, but there must have been early risers. But they are streaming through at the moment. It's not a particularly difficult spot to cross. As you can see, the river is actually down a little bit. and they're climbing up now. For those of you watching, we are going to be doing a live broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit very quietly for the next couple of seconds. Good morning, everybody. For those of you who have just joined us on this live broadcast, we are very excited to have you here today. We are sitting in the middle of the Masai Mara National Reserve. My name is Tayla, and on camera with me today is Sebastian. And we are smiling from ear to ear. This is my second crossing, and this is Sebastian's first time seeing the wildebeest cross the Mara River. How cool is this? Now, there's a little bit of a gap at the moment. There's a break in the herd. Most of them have gone through, but don't worry. There are some more streaming in. They've heard the sounds of the splashing water, the grunts of the wildebeest, and that is encouraging them to stream on in. Now, when you do a cross like this, you don't want to do it on your own. You want to have a lot of you. But if this is your first time watching one of our live broadcasts, I'm very excited to have chats with all of you. So if you have any questions, you can just comment away in the comment section, and those will be fed through to me. A little bit quiet. Look how they're slipping. It's very, very muddy. We had quite a bit of rain in this area, and with the wildebeest that have already gone through, they've churned up the mud, which makes it a bit slippery. They don't have the greatest 4x4 tread on their hooves, so it can be a little bit on the tough side. But just have a little listen to the sounds. You can hear them all talking to one another, basically encouraging the others that are streaming in from the distance to say, hurry, hurry, there's a crossing happening now. And like I said, you want to do it in a big group. Obviously, traveling on your own in a river like this, there's lots and lots of crocodiles around, but they just seem to not have woken up just yet, or perhaps they've already got full bellies because the crossings have been happening for the last couple of days within this area. And it's so great to see that so many of these wildebeest are actually making it through. They're not stampeding on top of one another, which is also good because drownings can happen very, very easily in the river. Now, you may have just seen the back of one of the cars. There's quite a few vehicles around here watching these animals cross this morning. This is so exciting. A little bit deep there, but luckily it's not too wide. A couple of leaps and bounds, and they're pretty much through. I'm still waiting to see if any of the crocodiles are going to respond to the rippling water and the sounds of the splashes, but this is not happening right now. Dory, you said that these wildebeest are pretty smart. They are indeed. They're very clever because it's quite a nice section to cross in terms of it not being completely covered by water. Just around the corner, there's some very deep. Oh, excuse me. Now you know it's live, in case you had any doubt. It must be all the dust that's being kicked up from the wildebeest. Apologies there. But yes, it is. And they're actually lucky that there's a bit of rocky terrain, and then they get up to the section where there's a bit of mud, and that can be a bit slippery too. Oh, excuse me. Little ones. Thank you, Seb. Little ones just struggling. Come on, you can do it. It must be quite tiring. Imagine the adrenaline that's running through these animals' bodies. You know, it's very, very terrifying as they go through this. Ryan, you said run for it. That's exactly what they're doing. Here comes another group. One lone wildebeest taking the plunge. Off you go, and it's going to start the next trend, and the next set of wildebeest are going to come on around. There they go. This is a great, great crossing. Go wildebeest. And so far we've got 100% success rate of them marching through the river. No fatalities just yet. So this is very, very exciting. It's very sad to see how many thousands of wildebeest died, not even just from the crocodiles taking them down, but just from being stampeded and then of course drowning and breaking of their legs. There's another group that's massing, which is quite cool. I'm trying to see if I can get a bit of view, but I think we've actually got a prime position at the moment, just through this little gap. Off we go. Up you go. Well done, wildebeest. Now, Ellen, then you're wondering if the crocodiles will sort of head into the area and try and catch the wildebeest at certain times of the day. I suppose it just depends on where the crocodiles are. I can actually see, you won't be able to see them. There's a couple of smaller crocs. They're just behind the vehicle, just out of view, and not particularly big. But because the wildebeest have been crossing through the whole day, maybe the crocs that are around here are actually just full, and there's no need for them to feast at the moment. It's actually this is the calmest crossing I have. I've only seen the two. I've seen quite a few from the river cam, but in terms of actually sitting here and experiencing it. So I think it depends, and I think when you get one crocodile moving in, perhaps that encourages the others to come through and start feeding away. Because remember, it's hard for one crocodile to try and eat an entire wildebeest on its own. They can't tear flesh off of the wildebeest like, for example, a lion or a leopard would. And so when crocodiles do frenzy and surround one wildebeest that they've caught, they'll all tear chunks and death roll, and this of course helps. I'm just thinking, I'm still deciding if we've got a good spot. You can see there they are massing again. They're actually turning around now, and this happens quite often. They'll go back and forwards, back and forwards. Do we go? Do we not? Are we going to stay? Is the grass greener on the other side? And that's all they're doing. So they're just following the reins around at the moment. This group seems a little bit unsure. Now, if you have just jumped on and you've joined us live, this is happening right now in the middle of the Masai Mara National Reserve, and you're welcome to ask us questions. So please comment away. I look forward to hearing about it, whether it's your first time perhaps watching a crossing. What are your feelings about the crossing? I mean, this, in terms of crossings, is a very successful one. The wildebeest won, hands down. The Mara River, unfortunately, lost out this time. But good job, wildebeest. And they're marching away now. I think this car is going to reposition. Whew, that was very cool, wasn't that? Now they're just marching away, everyone's just repositioning a little bit, but I quite like the spot that we've got, so I think we'll just hold up our space over here. It's very nice. I'm just looking around to see there's wildebeest coming from everywhere. If you were watching our shows earlier, you would have seen we had thousands of wildebeest, and they're all slowly coming in this direction. So I don't think that this is going to be the end of the crossings. I think there's going to be a bit of a break now. This herd has decided that, well, they're not having any of it. They're not quite ready to jump down and try and cross the river. All you need is just one to really build up the courage and take the plunge. It's not a steep embankment either, so they're not leaping off the edge. It's very, very easy for them. I absolutely love it when you see big groups successfully making it across. And that was exactly what's happened here. But we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to hang around and wait very patiently for the next group of wildebeest to march through the river. So from all of us here, thank you for watching, and keep an eye out for those live notifications, because you never know what's going to happen next when you're out here. But we'll see you all soon.
Yay!
Hello, internet people! Seb and I gave each other a high five now. How cool was that? Wasn't that amazing? Really nice. I'm glad we got to share it with everybody, with all of you, and as well as everybody who's just jumped on our live broadcast as well. That was absolutely fantastic. Beautiful crossing, really peaceful. I think it's nice every now and then to have crossings like that, and it's not very, I don't particularly enjoy watching crocodiles catch wildebeest. It's not very nice. Of course they need to eat, and we know it's nature, and that's just one of those things. Whew, right, let me let the adrenaline settle down though. We're going to hang around here. I'm not sure who I'm sending you off across to, but I'm sure it'll be wonderful.
Now we just got back into the sighting. Everyone, hold on. I'm just trying to reposition. And there seems to be a bit of hyena activity around here at the base of this tree, but shadow is still up there. Hold on, Viam, is this out your way? Is that okay? Perfect. There's a little gap in the roof. So we've had to put our roof on just because of the weather. And there's been a change. Now these hyenas are still hanging around, still looking for bits and pieces of food. Now I see. There's 1, 2, 3 hyena, 4. I think there's still the 5 hyena around here. And you can see Hosana is. You can just see in the top right left hand corner, you can see Hosana there on the termite mound. And young male leopard. I haven't seen any sign of Shadow's cub again. I think it's just hiding at the back, trying to stay out of the way of all these hyena and leopards. There's a lot going on here. See, hyena running up and down, looking for food. Let's see, just keep watching Hosana. Yep. He's going up the termite mound. Now that's interesting because the one hyena started walking towards him. So he obviously didn't enjoy that very much. You see, he's very cautious. I mean, the young male leopard doesn't want to be injured by a hyena. And I think they're more interested in seeing if he's got food hidden anywhere. So that's why they're walking backwards and forwards and sniffing around and looking, hanging around under the trees. So Chemex, you're asking if the hyenas can climb. No, they can't. They can't, not at all. Hyenas cannot climb trees. So that's why the leopards are very clever in hoisting their kills into trees, keeping it out of reach of the hyena. And you see this more experienced leopard, Shadow, is up in the tree at the moment. She's resting up there. She's got nothing to worry about now while she's up there. Nothing will bother her. You might see 1 or 2 other vehicles around here also joined us in the sighting. It's always great for tourists to come out and enjoy sightings like this firsthand, up close and personal. Now, for those of you who have only joined us now, don't forget we are live. You can send us your questions, #SafariLive via Twitter. And this sighting has been going on for a while. We've had a wonderful morning. Drove around for the first, I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, seeing very little. It's been overcast and raining slightly. And then we came to have a look what was going on with the sighting with Shadow. She made an impala kill yesterday. Her and her cub were feeding on it. Hyena stole it from her. She stole it back, hoisted it in a tree. When we got here this morning, there was a young male leopard up in the tree, and it was Hosana. And he seems to be doing this quite regularly, kind of scavenging, and it's clever. Male leopards actually do that quite often. They scavenge off kills from females, chase them off. It's an easy meal for them. And he was up in the tree feeding, then he came down, and Shadow is up in another tree resting, just staying away from the hyena. And the cub, she left a little bit behind us. We'll try to find it for you a little bit later, see if we can get a view of it. Always nice to see that little cub. Roshni, you asked how much bigger can Hosana get? Well, he'll still get much bigger. I would say he'll probably reach his full adult size at the age of about 4 years old. 4, maybe 5 years old. There he goes. He's been walking around, but look how big his belly is. So, Roshni, it's hard to describe to you how much bigger he would get. I'd say another 20% larger, maybe, if you can get an idea of that. I would say 10 to 20% larger. So Hyena seems to have found something and is crunching on. Is it just a piece of stick or... Powerful jaws. Mr. P, you asked if I'd rather be a leopard or a hyena. There's actually a lovely view now of shadow over my shoulders. She's lifted her head a bit. Mr. P, I'd much rather be a leopard, to be honest. Hyena are interesting animals and fascinating, actually, but I would rather be a leopard. There we go. Beautiful view of her face. You can see she's still just watching around, keeping an eye on these hyena, seeing what is going on. Oh, look, she's got a little piece there. So she found a little piece of the carcass to feed on. Look at that. Not much there. I don't know what part it is. Looks just like a little bone that she's chewing on there. I know some of you are still wondering where that little cub is. As I said, it's behind us somewhere. It's been hiding. It is still around. I'll try to find it for you just shortly. I think let's just sit here for a while. There's no rush this morning, so we can spend the rest of the drive here if we'd like. Look at her sharp claws. You can see her holding on that tree and that piece of carcass. And Hyena's got something in his... I think that's a piece of meat that Hosana had earlier. Or a piece of bone. That's it that Hyena's chewing on now. His powerful jaws crunching the bones. Mr. P, you said, well, seeing as a leopard... I would prefer to be a leopard. What would be my favorite kill or preferred kill? I wonder. Look, I think these impala are pretty tasty. Impala, maybe a warthog. Warthog and impala, I would say. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Kudu, maybe a young kudu. Don't judge me, but kudus are very tasty. We've had so much going on this last week. You know, I've had wonderful sightings with all of you on Safari Live. We had that male lion up in the tree. We had Tingana. We had yesterday we had a wonderful sighting with Shadow and a cub, and this morning again now 3 leopards. We had Tundi the other day up in a tree. There's been so many great sightings. Jamal, you asked if hyenas are friendly with humans. No, don't forget these are wild animals, Jamal. Can't say they're friendly or not friendly. They're wild animals. Hyenas would choose to run away. If I had to run at those hyena now, they'd run away from us and be afraid of us. They're curious at times. Hyenas come into camp, as some of you know. We've got to be very careful with the dustbins. They do come into camp from time to time, but if we do run out and make a noise, they run away. So I don't think you can say any animal is friendly towards humans, or wild animal at least. These animals tolerate us and they allow us to view them, but not a case of them being friendly towards us. Okay, well, let's go across now all the way back to the Mara. And Tayla's still sitting at the river, and I think she's got some big crocodiles she wants to show you. Let's go and see.
So, guess who's decided to pitch up to the party? The crocodiles. They're here. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe a couple more just around the corner. And there's a bigger one. That's probably the biggest one that's in the river at the moment. So they must have heard or felt the vibrations of the water as it was being churned up by the wildebeest. And they're starting to hang around over here. So that's good news for nobody. It's good news for the crocodiles. I was going to say that's good news for us, but I don't know if I don't like it. So, sorry, wildebeest. Next time you decide to come through, you're going to have to watch where you step, and you're going to have to be a lot quicker going through the river because they're ready. But they're relatively small crocodiles, so that one will be able to latch onto a wildebeest, but unfortunately the others are way too small, and they're going to have to wait for a bigger croc to catch one. That's if they do, of course, and maybe some of the even more monstrous crocodiles will move on in. But for now, it's quite sort of placid. Everyone's just basking in the sun, enjoying the warmth. Even the wildebeest have taken a seat. There's a few Egyptian geese around that are just sort of laying about. So there's a variety of different animals around here at the moment. Swivel the right way around. But there's some Egyptian geese. Look how relaxed they are. Oh my goodness. Now the comms are breaking up. No, it's a bit difficult here, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. So there's Egyptian geese around. They're very relaxed. They're just sitting in the sand. Look at... Yeah, Megan, it's okay. It's just a bit difficult to hear exactly what you're saying. It's coming in and going. I suppose it's just one of those things. But they're not ready to start moving around just yet, the wildebeest. Like I said, some of them have actually taken a break. And hopefully, if they hang around here, it will encourage more wildebeest to come from across the hill. There's no shortage of them. Like I said, there were thousands where there's just a bit of a gap between the sets of herds now. So what we might actually do is, because these guys don't look like they are going to cross anytime soon, we might actually take a little drive around and see if we can find anything else. I'm excited for this afternoon though, to head in the direction where we had lots of lions. We had 2 different groups of lions. The young males had relatively full bellies, and they, I think, are going to hunt again. There's a big herd of wildebeest heading towards them, and it would probably take them quite some time to get there. And then there's the mating pair, well, the 2 new Sand River males and a lioness, who I presume is from the Silas Pride, or the Breakaway Pride, because they were quite close to Silas Camp. That's where we stayed last night. It was absolutely lovely. We had a fantastic dinner, just in case you were wondering what we got up to. It was very nice. We were also stuck in an electrical storm. That was fun. And And that could be quite exciting too, because there was some buffalo around them and they were looking a little bit on the hungry side. So I don't think much will happen this right now, but this afternoon before the sun goes down, I think we could be quite excited. It could be quite exciting, and I think that's the area that we'll probably drive around. Oh, Megan, the comms are so bad, but I think you said it was Anna Marie. And I don't know what you said, Anna Marie, but you said something fantastic about the wildebeest. Oh, they're lucky. Okay, that they're lucky. It just keeps coming and going. The comms is breaking up quite a bit. I knew it couldn't last forever. Too good to be true. But at least we got that one crossing, though. That was quite exciting. Okay, so sorry about that, everybody. The gremlins are being a bit rude this morning. Sounds like I'm going to send you across to Jamie, if I'm not mistaken. She's been searching for a buffalo and she's possibly found it.
I don't know if I found her. I thought I had. That one at the back there with the 2 babies. That one. I thought I'd found her with the rest of the herd. I mean, that buffalo's walking stiffly, but surely she can't have healed that well. I'm not sure. I got very excited. I really thought we'd found her with the rest of the herd, but I would be lying to you if I said that was definitely her. It just fitted with the 2 babies of the right age and a slightly stiff gait. Could it be her? Maybe. I don't think so, though. How on earth do we figure out if she's here or not? It might... I didn't see her in the morning. I saw her in the afternoon, and I saw how she was struggling to walk. I don't think she would be able to walk this well today. Sometimes, those of you with dogs, you'll know, sometimes they hurt their foot, not badly, or hurt their leg, not badly, but they take on a very exaggerated limp because they get such a fright from the pain that they get scared of it. I don't think that was what was happening with her yesterday, though. I don't know. I mean, trying to find one buffalo in a herd, I'm not sure. We can hope, I guess, in a way. You can draw your own conclusions. I think that's going to be as close to an ending as we're going to find. I did check the area where she was. There's no sign of any vultures. There's no sign of any lions or hyenas. So, maybe she made it to the rest of the herd. I would love to just pretend that that is her, but it wouldn't be true. There you go, Joe. Joe, you say, let's just say it's her and it will be a happy ending. Shall we go with that? You can draw your own conclusions. It could be her. It's possible. The calves are the right age. She's the right size. I never had a close look at her face, so I'm not sure. I mean, those balding patches around their eyes are usually quite distinctive and quite individual on buffalo. I never had a chance to see her tatty ears. So there is a vast array of buffalo. One of them might just be her. And that would be a very happy ending. Safe with the rest of the herd, back on 2 feet. I hope that's the case. We've tried. It's definitely this buffalo herd, and this is definitely the buffalo herd that she was aiming for. Well done, girl, if you did get here. It's quite a feat. What I'll do now, probably... You've got a limp. Where's the limp? Whereabouts? Yeah. Craig, I don't believe it. You found her. You found her. That is almost certainly her. Bravo, Craig. Well done. Guys, we found her. We found her and she made it. She's made it to the rest of the buffalo herd and she's managing to walk. Well spotted, Craig. Her little ones have probably gone to join the rest of the herd now that she's safely in the vicinity. That's definitely her. No, it's not. That's a boy. Never mind. Oh no. Oh, I got so excited. I was convinced it had to be her. It was too much of a coincidence, but it is just that. That is a male, right? I didn't imagine that. No, that's a male. It's a young male. And it's a different kind of injury. It's a back leg. Okay. Jump to a conclusion there. It just goes to show. Not every limping buffalo is the same. And so the story opens up again. And now we've got one more poor injured buffalo. Sorry, boy. I think it's this terrain, you know. And you might even find that this buffalo was injured in the same way that she was, during the same chase that she was, because I suspect that the buffalo were running from something, and she fell into a hole. There are lots and lots of holes around here, as Brent and Craig discovered yesterday when they were trying to stick with the female. They drove into one. And that would be, I would guess, where these injuries have come from. I could be completely mistaken, of course. He might have fallen, he might have been hit by another buffalo. Shame. Just remember the remarkable healing power of these animals. I really thought it was her. I really, really thought it was her. Now I'm desperately scanning the rest of the herd. Well done anyway, Craig. It was well spotted. Okay. The search for the limping buffalo continues. What we're going to do now is send you across to Byron with Shadow, who I think has recently recovered from her limp.
Jamie, well, she still has a bit of a limp. We saw this leopard moving yesterday, and she still has a bit of a limp. But she seems to be fine. I mean, she's still hunting. She's nice and full at the moment. They fed a lot. I just did a little bit of a loop to have a look for that cub. I can't see it. We couldn't find it again. I think it's just hiding in the long grass there somewhere. It is around. Nothing happened to the cub, but just can't see it. I mean, these little cubs can hide very, very well when they want to. And this female definitely isn't phased. I also don't know where Hosana disappeared to. And such a beautiful pose though by Shadow up in that marula tree. She's just keeping an eye on the hyena. Every now and then she opens her eyes and watches them. There's still a few of them moving around. Looks like still 5 hyena around here. They're just waiting for any sign of food, but I think also it's nice and cool, so they're just deciding to stay in this area and wait. But there's very little left of any carcass, or of that carcass that Hosana and Shadow and a cub fed on. But there seem to be bits and pieces of carcass spread out. Randy, now you're asking what is the bite strength of these hyena compared to something like an alligator or crocodile? So I can't remember the exact measurements. And I stand to correction. I think a crocodile was close to a ton force per square centimeter or something like that. I think it was somewhere around there. Very, very powerful bite force. More powerful than hyena, obviously. Hyena is definitely more powerful than leopard or lion, but I can't remember exactly what I mean, these are measurements that have been done by experiments, and I don't know how accurate they are, but it was a few hundred pounds per square inch or something that the hyena has. Also very, very powerful bite. As I said, definitely more powerful than that of a lion or leopard. However, I wouldn't like to be bitten by any of these animals. But hyena, they're known to be the bone crunchers of the bush, I suppose, because you often hear them when they are feeding on carcasses, crunching through those bones, breaking the bones. See, this hyena is smelling that branch there now, and that's because that's where Hosana was lying earlier. He had a little piece of meat there. He was lying on that branch, so that's possibly why that hyena's smelling it right now. Now, Roshni, you were commenting about the bite force of a hyena, and you said somewhere around 1,000 psi. I can't even remember what does psi stand for, but that's pounds square inch. 1,000, yeah, pounds per square inch. 1,000 pounds per square inch. Then I wonder what a crocodile is. A crocodile must be way more than that. Okay, well, Jared in the final control, our tech guy. Actually, you know what, I can't even remember if we've welcomed Jared and Ashley properly to the Djuma team. Jared, Ashley, welcome. I'm sure Tristan would have mentioned it too, but they've come down. Jared was helping out in the Mara, and he's now here at Djuma helping us. So we've got a tech guy. Yay, yay. We're so happy. So Jared and Ashley have joined us, and Jared apparently just Googled it quickly. He says a crocodile is about 3,700 pounds per square inch. So as I said, much more than a hyena. So that's a lot more. Immense bite force. Thanks, Henry. Take care. Enjoy. Some of the other landowners and that enjoy these sightings with us. And a lot of them watch Safari Live too when they're not here, which is great. So they kind of know what's going on with the animals when they get out here. They said they're going to go stop for coffee. I'm a bit jealous. I didn't have my coffee with me. I don't know, these early mornings now, it feels almost like it's too early for coffee. So I'll wait until I get back to camp. Have a cup of coffee. Oh, lovely view of her face there again. There's just something about watching a leopard in a tree. This is, the perfect leopard sighting, I suppose you could say. A leopard straddled over a big branch like this. Still looking around. She's still watching the hyena. She's possibly looking to see where Hosana went. I don't know where he has disappeared to. Can't see where he's gone. She's just keeping a watchful eye on this whole scene at the moment. Roshni, there isn't, I wouldn't say there's a big difference between the purpose of scent marking between female leopards and male leopards. Now, the main reason, obviously the main reason, is territory. So the scent marking is to mark territory, to let other leopards know this is their territory and they should stay out. The difference is, or the difference comes into it when it's mating time. And the reason for that is because with leopards, as you know, the females are the ones that instigate the mating, not the males. So males just have big territories. They've got huge areas that they, excuse me, that they, I'm terribly sorry. And they've got huge areas that they patrol and scent mark. And then what happens is when the females are looking for a potential mate or coming to estrus, they will go and have a look around for that dominant male. So they'll pick up on his scent and go and look for him, find him, and present themselves for mating. So it is a bit different. So Rashni, there isn't a major difference between the purpose of scent marking for male or females. Both are provide the same purpose, and that's to mark their territory. That's the main reason. But then, of course, the females will use the male scent to find them. And vice versa. Males also just curious what females are moving through their territory or what other leopards are around. It's a lovely picture. I know some photographers that would really be enjoying this sighting right now. Nice open marula tree, no branches in front of her face. So perfect for taking pictures. Now this is quite interesting. Now, just as soon as some hyena activity again, they're running around again. Let's just have a look. They've just run off. Now, these hyena, you never know why they do it. Sometimes they just pick up on the scent of something, or they hear something, and they just run away. I don't know what's going on. And here is a fun fact. Jared Googled a little bit more in the final control. Obviously our technical issues out here are great and are fixed, so Jared has time to Google. Jared says that apparently the jaguar has the strongest bite force out of the big cats, and it comes in at about 2,000 psi, 2,000 pounds per square inch. Now that is a powerful bite force. Obviously, I'm amazed at that it's more powerful than a hyena. But then again, jaguar is a big cat, and if you think of how powerful a leopard is, a male leopard that weighs around, call it 80 kilograms, 70 to 80 kilograms, a big male leopard, how strong and powerful they are, hoisting impala males up into trees. And think of a jaguar that's twice that size, about the size of a lioness, 160, 170 kilograms. You can imagine how big that cat is, how powerful that cat is, and its jaw strength. Now I've seen videos, video footage of the jaguars catching the caiman. Now that is the species of crocodile found in South America, and the jaguars jump into the water from time to time and they catch caiman, which is, that can't be very easy prey to catch. So it gives you an idea of how powerful they are. Gregory, you say what a supreme cat this female is. Yeah, she's a wonderful leopard. But you know, I always say I've never ever heard anybody see a leopard and go, "Oh, this is an ugly leopard." Every leopard's beautiful. I think Hosana is lying in the grass there somewhere, and the only reason I say that, I can't see him, but the other vehicle moved over there and I can see them taking pictures, so I assume he is hiding in there somewhere. Caro, you say this is such a good picture, it should be on a leopard calendar. Yeah, I suppose so. Now, maybe a little hint for pictures like this, for taking pictures like this, depending on what camera you have when you come out on safari, but most of the SLRs, these kind of, could you say fancy camera, where you've got to change the settings, and different settings you could use for this, because you've got such a bright background, that slightly overcast and bright background. What does help sometimes from time to time is if you change the exposure, so you're overexposing a little bit. Also, because the light isn't great, you might have to push up the ISO. Now, some of this terminology you all might be confused with, but this is purely for people who are into photography, and if you are learning about photography. So the one thing is, you could probably increase the f-stop a little bit, because you want a lot more in focus. So an f-stop of about 8 or 9, give you a nice depth of field. Then ISO, I would put it on about, it's fairly bright. You could have it on 800 or 1200, just to make sure you get the clarity that you want. And so the lower the light, the higher the ISO. And then maybe just overexpose slightly to compensate for that bright background. You should get a really nice picture. Okay, well, I'm going to sit here a little bit longer. I'm enjoying this tremendously. Let's go across to Tayla and find out how her morning in the Mara is going.
Byron, I don't know, I was going to say something and then I forgot. I was caught off guard. How's it going, Byron? Please can someone ask Byron how he's doing, and has he, is he still Biceps McGee, or we're not doing those nicknames anymore? I feel so out of touch now, being so far away. Say again?
Can you see better?
Oh yes, Sebastian would like to know if you can see better, Byron. Megan passes it along to you. So we're bumbling about. We've moved away from the main section of the river. We've sort of like a foresty area, and I love this spot around here. We're just going to go up a little bit further, because there's a nice group of eland, and also my hair is now coming in out of my hat. There's a couple of giraffe around. There's quite a few different animal species, and it's a beautiful day. It's I don't know why. I'm very happy today. Not that I'm never not happy. So what, Megan, you said Byron says he doesn't need the glasses. Is he just wearing them to look cool?
Oh dear, sounds like we've lost Tayla there for a second. Now Sebastian and Tayla asking how it's going, and Sebastian asked if my eyes are better with the glasses. He was quite shocked to see me wearing glasses. Sebastian, don't need them at the moment. Like I said, I think my eyes were just sore the other day from all those allergies I had. And Tayla said I was just wearing them to look cool. I don't know. Do you think I looked cool, Tayla?
You look a lot smarter.
Ah, thanks. William says I looked a lot smarter with the glasses on. Well, that's what I was going for, actually. Not to look cool, just to look smarter. Yeah, but my eyes are feeling better now. So, like I say, I mainly use them for driving at night in the city, or early mornings, like when I leave to come up to Djuma. I usually put my glasses on because often a bit of mist and stuff like that. It definitely does make a bit of a difference. But my eyes aren't that bad. Not just yet. Maybe it's age creeping in on me, or creeping up on me. I think James would agree with me. Although I always say, if I can still play rugby, then I'm not that old. I've actually got a match on the 28th. Going to be playing some rugby. Well, this is such a peaceful sighting. It really has calmed down a lot. The leopard's still enjoying this tree and resting. As I said, I'm going to spend some more time here. Jamie is still wandering around. I'm not sure why she's so curious about this injured buffalo. But let's go find out how her search is going.
Well, peaceful is certainly a good way of describing this morning. I don't know. I've come back to sort of between where she was and where the buffalo herd is, because we don't really know if she's with the buffalo herd or not. And I definitely don't see any vultures. I definitely don't see any birds of prey. I did see 2 battaliers, but I think that was just a coincidence. I think we'll have to leave it as that, folks. I think that is going to be forever a mystery, which is kind of nice in a way. We can believe that she made it back safely to the rest of the herd, and she eventually recovered, grew old, and had many more calves. I think that's sort of the conclusion we can draw. I don't know what happened. I don't see any sign of a kill. She's quite a big buffalo, so I think that if there were lions, they'd still be, or maybe, if there were lions, I think they'd still be feeding on her. If it was hyenas, she might be done. Especially with the North Clan having over 100 members. Okay, now I've got to find the road again. I've tried. We've done our absolute best. I think we'll never know the answer to that mystery. I sat and watched that buffalo herd for ages, but they're all sleeping. They're all lying down. Oh, it's a pleasure. You don't need to thank me. I was desperate to know what happened to her. I really, really wanted it to be a happy ending. I actually thought about her last night a lot. I had dreams about finding her this morning. I think she's okay. I want to believe that. She tried so hard. She could also be sleeping in one of these many scattered little croton thickets and woolly caper bushes. I can't check everyone. I promise you I was on a road a moment ago. I can't have lost it. I can have lost it. I found it. Road is a generous term. That's sort of what I'm talking about. I found something that vaguely maybe somebody drove on a few times once. This giraffe. There's a bird of prey sitting in that tree, which could be entirely a coincidence. Can we check what that is, please, Craig? On the top of that tree. It might just be a nesting raptor. I'm hoping that's the case. It's a bit out of the line that she was walking in. That's a tree. Yes. Am I imagining a bird? Is that the right tree? Possibly not. Try the one... Oh, goodness. Which tree is it? It's the one straight there, Craig. Wait. Let's find the... Yes, okay, find that one. Now, a bit to the left. And a bit more. And there. That looks like a marshal. From a distance. That looks a lot like a marshal eagle. They scavenge, but I doubt that it's scavenging on a buffalo. Okay. No, I just had to check. Marshal eagle, not vulture. It just looked large. OD farming. Yes, it is advisable for tourists to take anti-malarials in this area, or especially if they're going towards the coast. The coastal regions, of course, have high incidence of malaria. It's also compulsory upon entering Kenya and quite a few countries around here to have a yellow fever vaccination. We don't take anti-malarials because we're well aware of the risks of malaria, and it would do tremendous damage to us were we to take the medication every single either day or week, depending on which medication we would take. It does actually damage your liver if you take it constantly. So we don't take anti-malarials. All we do basically is shall I quote Brent? Malaria is only serious if you don't take it seriously. No, we're always on the watch for the symptoms. It's the same in the sands. There's a high level. There's been quite a few malaria cases recently. We lost a colleague last year. But the trick is to catch it early, to look for the symptoms, and to start the treatment immediately. No, we don't take anti-malarials, or we'd be quite sick. Alright, well, speaking of malaria in Kenya and malaria in South Africa, I think it's time to send you back to South Africa to enjoy some leopards.
Now Shadow just climbed down the tree. Let's have a look what she's up to. I wonder why. I'm curious to see if she decides to go and look for that cub. Look at that, the sun is now starting to come out. We were saying, and I was saying, if you want the rain to disappear, put the roof on, and then the rain goes away. Typical. Now, I'm just watching. Hosana is now sneaking up. There he comes through there. Oh. I don't know, I think he's playing with fire, trying to follow an experienced older leopard. I'm not sure if Shadow will tolerate it. Curious. I think all he's doing is he's possibly coming to have a look and see if she left some food behind. He's watching her closely. He might go and inspect the tree. Oh no, he's following her. Look at that, he's kind of stalking, trying to follow. This is interesting behavior. I don't know why he's doing this. I don't know. I think he's wondering about a kill, or potentially more food. It's a lovely view of him. So let's see what happens here. I can still see Shadow. She's just moving off, basically in the direction of where that kill was. Now you see, now Hosana's changed his mind. I think he's going to go and investigate this tree where she was. Let's see. Maybe we're lucky and he decides to climb up for us. I can still see Shadow just moving back towards that other tree. Okay, let's keep an eye on Hosana. Watch. I've got a feeling he might jump up there. It's almost like he wants to make sure. There we go. Wonderful. Wonderful. Look at that. My feeling was right. So yeah, and I think it's just because she was up there, so he wants to investigate, have a look if there's any food. And he's picking up on a scent. Look at that pose. That's beautiful. VM, is this pulling your way a little bit? Shall I just turn the vehicle slightly?
Yeah.
There we go. Is it better? Yeah, much better. Much better. And I just caught a glimpse now of Shadow. She's up in the other tree where that kill was. I think she's just seeing if there's anything left there. I don't think we'll get her from here. I'll reposition again, but this is such a nice... I mean, we've seen Shadow in a tree for a while. It's nice to see Hosana back up in the tree, and look at that full belly hanging down. Reminds me of myself after a Christmas lunch. Anna Marie, you asked if I was in a bushwalk and we found a leopard in a tree like this, what would I do? So Anna Marie, I'd stop and see how the leopard reacts firstly. So stand still, see how the leopard reacts. Chances are the leopard would possibly climb down and move off. However, then I would try and enjoy the sighting a little bit on foot. Just get the guests together, be very quiet, keep our voices down. Watch a leopard for a while and then say, okay, right, let's move out, and then just back out slowly so that the leopard doesn't react to us. This is going to be a great photographic opportunity. I'm itching at the moment. The photographer in me is coming out, because this is so beautiful having this leopard up in the tree, and then I think when he comes down, you're going to have lovely images of him coming down. We can link to Tayla and then I can take pictures. No, I'm just joking. I'll never do that. I'd like to show you this leopard coming down the tree, because I think he'll probably take a few steps and then leap the last meter or two. It's generally what these big cats do, or the leopards in particular. But this has been a photographer's dream. Asman, now you've asked which cat has the best hunting success. I think, look, if you look at between lion and leopard, it would be leopard. I think the percentage is a little bit more with leopard. Their success rate. Lions, I think the success rate is only around 30%, which is not very high, and I think leopard's a little bit more at like 40%. I'm trying to think what other cats. Cheetah's probably got quite a high success rate. Maybe actually a cheetah, because cheetah rely on their speed. Oh, looks like this leopard doesn't know how he wants to lie. He can't get comfortable. You know, I must be honest. I haven't seen cheetah hunting that often. And maybe some of the guides in the Mara that have been viewing a lot of the cheetah, Scott might be a good one to ask. I know he's been seeing a lot of cheetah up in the Mara. And just find out how successful they are there with their hunting. I think they are quite good. Speaking of cheetah hunting, I need to vent a little bit about something, because I always get quite irritated with videos that are posted on social media that claim to be one thing that really aren't. Now, I saw a video clip, and it was how the caption was "Baboons chase cheetah" or "Save impala from cheetah." Firstly, the image they had on the cover of the video was a leopard catching an impala, and they photoshopped a baboon in, so that was wrong, firstly. Then they started off by filming a cheetah hunting Thompson's gazelle in the Masai Mara, so that was wrong. And they then eventually put in footage of a cheetah chasing impala, probably down in southern Africa, where the cheetah then caught an impala. Then they had a troop of baboons come running through, and they switched that footage about 3 or 4 times with different baboons throughout Africa, not even the same baboons. They then had the one troop of baboons go back to that cheetah that did catch the impala, and they did mob the cheetah, and purely because it's a predator, not because they were trying to save the impala or anything. And the cheetah, being a cheetah, they're not very aggressive animals, and they get chased away by just about any other animal. The cheetah got up and ran off. There's a hyena now underneath the tree. But that entire video just painted an incorrect picture for people that watch it, and it is very upsetting. I really don't enjoy it. These edited videos, and they add different footage from different sightings just to try get views on social media, I think is very incorrect. Alright, well, we're going to sit here for a little while longer. Let's go across to Tayla, and she's got some elephant that she would like to show you.
So we're just having chats. We met a lovely couple now who are on their way down towards the river. Look how absolutely precious this is. This tiny little calf is so funny. She's a big cow too, and is it a cow? Yeah, it is a cow. She looks very male-like, how tall she is, and also she's walking very strangely. I think she's an old girl. I think she's been around for a very, very long time. Watch how she walks with her front legs, though. It's almost as if she is a catwalk model. It's so interesting to sit and watch, individual animals. And just seeing the different sort of ways. I mean, we all walk differently, Some of us tend to put more weight on the outside of it. Some of us like to walk on our toes. But that elephant is very cool, the way she goes. And she's just moving around. She's feeding around in circles. She's obviously looking for a specific plant as she goes about. Doesn't look like she's she's now on the grass. But just now she was feeding on little shrubs as well. And her little one was racing around, playing with the rest of the herd. Not staying away for too long, though, coming straight back. You thirsty? Paula, you said, what a beautiful scene. It is indeed a beautiful scene. It has been a spectacular morning, and I suspect that there's going to be much more to come from today. So just a reminder is keep an eye out for those Facebook Lives, those notifications. If you haven't turned them on already, turn them on right now. And wildebeest are still massing around the Mara River, and we're just going to do a quick loop. We're going to go and see if the hyenas are up to anything, and then probably head back down that way. And Sebastian and I have said we're going to challenge ourselves and see how many animals we can see. So we're going to stay out pretty much most of the day. We might shoot back just to top water bottles up back at Sala's camp, maybe freshen up a little bit, but we're going to spend all day out here and have a bit of an adventure. These elephants look like they've already had a bit of a mud bath, though, don't they? They're nice and dark in colour. It is very hot. I know it's been hot in the Sabi sand in South Africa as well. Every day is hot out here in the Mara, but it's a different type of heat. It's not quite as hot, but the sun is so dangerous here, which reminds me that either I need to do what the elephants did and cover myself in mud to protect myself from the sun, or I'm going to have to apply some, well, actual sunscreen. So, Djuma, can I roll back for you? I don't want to have to start the car, so I'm trying to make it roll back. So I'm going to turn the car just a little bit, because that little calf is absolutely precious, where it's just about standing on its tippy toes, trying to suckle. And she's most certainly the matriarch of this group. I'm trying to see, so it's her, and there's some other females here. There's quite a few young bulls too. Maybe they're a part of a bigger herd somewhere along the line. Are you also going to cross the Mara River? Are you going to go into the Triangle for a bit of a holiday? Who knows? I'd love to know what these animals were thinking. If I could get inside an elephant's head, that would be a dream come true. And they're so relaxed as well. Absolutely so relaxed. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this morning, because I most certainly have, and I can see Sebastian has too, because he's smiling from ear to ear. But we're going to head on towards the hyena. Who knows, maybe they're doing something exciting. I'm going to send you back across to Byron. He's going to close the show with you with some incredible animals.
Thank you, Tayla. Yeah, it has been an amazing morning. It's been a wonderful morning. Hope you've all enjoyed it as much as we have. We've had so much activity. First found Hosana, this male leopard, up in the tree with a kill. That Shadow made. She has now climbed up back on the other tree. There's been hyena interaction with these leopards. So there's been a lot going on here. I'm not sure if these leopards will still be here this afternoon. I think Tristan will be out on drive, and certainly will come and investigate and have a look for you. Beautiful hornbill in the background there. Justin, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the drive. Thank you very much. It was great. It really has been a wonderful morning. So we'll see you again this afternoon on our sunset safari. Thank you to the team in the Mara, of course. Hopefully all the tech issues are sorted out now. And of course, Megan in FC and Jared, our tech guy. VM on camera. Thanks, VM. It's been great. VM's done an outstanding job this morning. And of course, to our leopards. So we will see you all later. Have a wonderful day wherever you are around the world. Goodbye, everyone.